everybody. Welcome to yet another Star Trek podcast. The one podcast with three guys watching two shows at the same time.
I'm not confused at all. Are you?
Oh, I'm totally confused.
What are we watching?
I don't know.
Three guys.
Well, right now, like we're in a time vortex.
So
Brad and I. Majeed, I mean, this is fitting for this episode for today. First of all, I'm your host, Drew. I am joined by Brad. Say hello, Brad.
Hello, Brad.
and I'm joined by Majeed. Say hello, Majeed.
Hi, Brad. Wait.
And we are in a time vortex of sorts, covering an episode about parallel universes. I feel like we have a parallel universe of our podcast right now.
I think we haven't recorded an episode with Majeed in about 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah. Maybe about a month before I went on.
I think it's closer to 4 weeks.
Yeah, I went on vacation. So the Monday, we recorded the Thursday before I went on vacation in March.
Yeah, I have I think it's March 12th, March 9th, somewhere around there. Somewhere like the second week of March, and it's the second week of April right now. So it's been a month since Majeed has joined us, but Brad and I, in the meantime, have been very, very hard at work. Unlike our slacking counterpart here.
Black counterpart.
You said lacking.
Lacking. Oh my God.
Slack with an S.
Oh, slacking.
Both of you.
Okay.
At least Brad's like legitimately deaf.
Whoa.
That's fair.
Oh my God.
But yeah,
start over.
No, let's just keep rolling. I mean, our listeners know at this point that you and I have been reviewing Picard, and I think by the time they get to this episode, we'll probably be done by that.
Oh yeah. I mean, this is going to be dropping many weeks after Picard comes to an end.
I, by the way, did watch Picard's trailer, so I got that far.
Yeah, which trailer though? Which season?
3. What season are they on now?
What was the trailer about?
I don't know. So, hang on. Wait. No. Don't write me off. Hang on. I don't know. Hang on.
What do you remember?
I saw.
Was there somebody in there? Was he bald?
Picard was in there. LaForge was in there.
Okay, so it's 3.
Okay. And it just happened to be airing during my watch of the alternative Fear Factor episode we just watched.
That's
have been
fair.
A nice little Paramount Plus ad.
Yeah. I'm not rich enough to pay for the ad-free version.
Man, just have T-Mobile. They give you a free year.
They did.
Oh, that's what it is?
It's been a year.
Okay.
It's done.
Yeah, that's a past tense thing, man.
Yeah. Brad's also in a time vortex. Remember?
Yeah, I have no concept of time anymore. Time does not exist.
So speaking of the Picard podcast, I'm very happy for both of you, and I really think you guys have a good dynamic. I'm not jealous at all. After the first one dropped, Drew was like, "Hey, have you listened to it?" I'm like, "No, not yet." And I had to think about it. I was about to put it on. I said, how am I going to put on this episode when I have not seen any episode of Picard?
You haven't even seen Next Generation either.
Yeah, right. That's like 300 something episodes, right?
I think it's like 176.
Oh, all right. I'm close.
It's a very specific number, but I'm pretty sure it's spot on.
Can we fact check him, please? Because I need to know if I'm gonna give him a demerit before we continue.
Please do.
Sure, I'll look.
Brad's already at one demerit.
What's the over under on my do I have any wiggle room?
No, you said spot on, so I expect you to be spot on.
So technically, it's 176.
Ooh.
However, it's 178. If you count, I think 2-part episodes where they separated them into 2 separate episodes.
So, for the sake of making sure Drew doesn't get a demerit, we're gonna say that it's 176.
Yeah, because the two feature length episodes that they're talking about are most likely the pilot, Encounter at Farpoint, and the finale, All Good Things, both of which aired as 2-hour episodes the first time they aired.
Yep.
Oh my
So reruns
God.
do not count.
Oh my,
Reruns do not count.
oh my God. Can you edit in like an applause for yourself? That's impressive.
You know what? I might do that. Let's see how I feel. I might do that. But I mean, you realize like when we started talking about doing this, like I tried to make it clear what you were getting into.
You tried, but you also have to understand your audience.
So we'll be finished by the time we're 70, I think.
Maybe. Maybe. I'm excited though. We have, well, first of all, today's first contact day. I'm not sure if you guys knew this. Yeah, today's first contact day.
We are recording this on April 5th for the listeners.
Yep.
Did they announce anything?
Yeah,
I think
that we are
did,
40 years away from first contact. That's what they announced. We got announcements last week. We know that Lower Deck season 4 is coming out. They are in production of season 5. We know that not Discovery. What's the other one? Strange New Worlds is coming out this summer as well. So we'll probably have maybe a month without Star Trek content that's new, and then
Have we heard anything about was it Section 31? Like the
No.
Yeah, no, we did actually. We did. It was after Michelle Yeoh won her Oscar for fantastic work, by the way, in Everything Everywhere All at Once. But
great movie, by the way.
Yeah, they said that now Discovery is coming to an end. They always saw Section 31 as a offshoot, and they would never have too many shows on at once. So it had to be after something ended.
Too many shows all at once.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like we're already there.
Yeah, because like Picard is coming to an end, so the cancellation of Discovery has nothing to do with that. And plus they also announced the Starfleet Academy show.
And
I heard that too. Yeah, I'm interested in that one.
Didn't I pitched that, by the way? That was one of my pitches on Twitter.
They were setting that up. They were setting that up with Tilly.
Is it going to be?
You
in
wouldn't
the
know
future?
that because you haven't watched that, but
It's going to be in the future, isn't it?
I
believe so.
mean,
I hate that.
all
future.
of Star Trek is in the future.
No, it's. I don't want to talk about it right now.
he's not wrong though, Brett. He's not wrong.
Demerits.
That is a true statement, Majeed. I appreciate it.
So, just really quick, first of all, I miss you guys. I miss Drew. Even though I saw Drew, I have selfies with Drew. I have selfies with Drew and my dog. I have pictures of Drew and my dog. That was a fun day.
Whoa! This is getting a little uncomfortable.
As you can tell, he doesn't really care about me anymore. I see how it is.
Hey, I mean, you're on like the West Coast now. You're in a different time zone.
I'm in the same time zone.
California love.
I don't actually know where Atlanta, California is, Brad. I'm just telling you now.
Georgia,
California. I don't know where that is either.
It sounds like a Red Hot Chili Peppers song.
So, speaking of love songs specifically, this is the weirdest thing I've done. But Drew, I need you to maintain eye contact with me. Every time a love song comes on, and it has the word "you" in it, I replace the word "you" with Drew instinctively. So I'll give you an
Can
example.
we please have some? Yeah, I need some examples.
Selena Gomez, "I Love You Like a Love Song, Baby." I love you like a love song, baby. Just change it to I love you like a love song, baby. My daughter does not like it. But it works in every single song. Every single song that says "you," I change to Drew. It's childish, but I love it. It keeps me close to you.
I don't know how I feel about this.
I will
Brad,
give
how
you,
should I feel about this?
Yo, man, sometimes you just need to roll with it.
I'll give you 30 seconds to gather your thoughts and emotions. We can talk about it for a sec. In one word.
It's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
Okay. I deserve that. It's pretty weird when you do it at the gym. You're loud about it. Like, why is he singing about Drew? What the hell is Drew? What song is that? Oh, okay.
Oh my goodness. All right. So let's what else you got going? Am I gonna do a hard pivot here? Do we have anything else or are we good?
I think it's time to rock the show, man.
All right. Yeah. All right. All right, guys. So let's talk about this episode of Star Trek: The Original Series, The Alternative Factor. This one was released on March 30th, 1967. The remaster aired December 1st, 2007. And this was written by a man using a lot of drugs by the name of Don Ingallis and directed by an equally drugged out director by the name of Gerd Oswald. This week we watched the episode called The Alternative Factor, or what Brad likes to call Star Trek Does Acid. He joined the crew of the Enterprise as an unknown phenomenon disrupts the universe. The planet they were orbiting once had no life before the event, but then after, it had one life. So first you have no life, and then something happens, and then it has plus one life. Just one.
I mean, that's all that's needed, right? You just need one.
I want to know if they were like just skipping over the trees that were there, because there was foliage
or the plants. By the way, was this the same location they filmed that other episode? Like, okay,
which one? Do you mean Arena or the cage or?
I saw Drew shaking his head up and down. I'm like, yep, that's it.
Yeah. This is once again Vasquez Rocks. I'm pretty sure.
Who rocks?
Very famous spot in California. It's like right outside of LA, so they do a lot of filming there in Hollywood. But Star Trek used it extensively. So let's see here. I'm just trying to confirm. Thanks to Memory Alpha. Let's see here. Rocks. Yep, Vasquez Rocks. Sure enough.
Did you just search for the word rocks and pulled it up?
I did, because I wasn't sure how they spelled Vasquez, if it was with a Q.
I mean, that shows
a Z
like,
or an S.
That shows like how how popular that page is.
Well, I have it on Memory Alpha, so I just typed in rocks. I typed in rock first. If I just do rock, I get 6 results. But if I add the S, it narrows it down to 3.
If you type in rock, you should just get Dwayne Johnson.
Well, he's the 3rd result.
What?
He is in Memory Alpha.
He is.
Yep.
Yeah.
True story.
Yeah, because he was on
Voyager.
He was in the best episode of Voyager. Yeah.
Oh man, that's a bold statement.
Well, we'll talk about the best episode of Voyager in another 492 podcast.
Right when we're 70, according to Brad.
The planet they were... Oh, wait, I already read that. While we were investigating the planet, a man going by the name of Lazarus greets them all, just like a guy who had too much to drink before his date arrives at the restaurant and then proceeds to pass out. Lazarus stumbled all over the place and, ends up back on the Enterprise. He sobers up and claims that a world-destroying thing is following him, despite the crew of the Enterprise having no way of being able to find any trace of it. McCoy loses Lazarus from sickbay somehow while attempting to treat him. He just gets up and leaves.
It's a big ship, Captain.
It's not like it's important or anything.
Yeah. Like it's not like they can't lock a door.
Or
Can we sit on that for a second? Why didn't they lock the door?
Why would they?
Put like a tracking device on them.
I mean, if they locked the door, the episode wouldn't happen.
Yeah. McCoy also advises Kirk that something odd is going on. one moment Lazarus is injured and the next he is magically healed. And you could tell by just looking at his forehead because it has a cut with a bandage on it.
But then the cut was gone.
But then the cut with the bandage is gone. When they find Lazarus, he's injured. And then he's not. And then he is. It's very weird. Spock locates a crack in the universe somehow where physical laws don't apply, and the dilithium crystals that they have on board the ship can be used to find it. So Lazarus overhears this. He beats up 2 officers and steals the 2 dilithium crystals.
I mean, that's logic right there. It makes sense.
Yeah. Is this the first time that they've actually referred to the dilithium crystals on the ship? I don't recall.
No, they've probably referred to. Well, I think they've said dilithium before.
I'm not sure. I know they had like something from the engines that they referred to. But for the listeners that don't understand what I'm talking about, and Majeed, who fully understands.
I totally understand.
You totally understand. The dilithium crystals are a part of the engine and what creates warp speed. And they dive into this in great detail in the 176 episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation, where they talk about how matter and antimatter collide in the dilithium matrix to create energy, and thus propelling the ship forward at great speeds. So these crystals literally power warp drive. And this guy just walked up and grabbed them out of the engine room.
I think in the future TNG stuff, that's not possible.
Yeah, no, they have this thing like in like a contamination chamber and stuff.
By the way, it's also not possible on Strange New Worlds, even though it's technically the same ship. Just going to put it out there.
Retconning.
Yeah. Anyway, Kirk accuses Lazarus of the disruptions on his ship, but he blames but Lazarus blames the being that is following him. Lazarus eventually breaks down and advises Kirk that he is a time traveler, but Spock later says that he's from some sort of a parallel universe. So who really knows who's telling the truth here? Kirk eventually gets sucked into another universe where a sane version of Lazarus gives him the real deal of what's going on. He advises that if the Lazaruses ever exist in the same universe, it will end everything. He has a plan to save them all. Put them in a tunnel together, because that won't cause the universe to end. Nope, not at all. Kirk ends up getting sent back to the proper universe, and he's eventually able to subdue evil Lazarus and transport him to the tunnel thing. The 2 Lazaruses will then spend the rest of eternity fighting each other. The end. To sum up the episode, this episode gives new meaning to split personalities. It's clear the writers and directors of Star Trek did drugs, and Brad has no idea what he just watched.
Nope, I honestly don't. I was watching it and I was fully paying attention, and I felt like I did acid just by watching it.
I mean, we don't know what drugs you have access to on the West Coast, so
It's true. We do not.
I thought the episode was hilarious, by the way. I think a few times I was laughing because it was just so ridiculous.
You mean like those moments of those random blue highlights of 2 guys randomly just going at it?
You want to rephrase that sentence?
No, I stand by the words I used.
No, it was Lazarus randomly throwing himself off a cliff. Twice.
Oh my god, that was great.
That was so funny. He like standing on the edge of the cliff, then he kicks a rock off, and then he falls to his death. It's delightful.
It was so funny. I was like, why? What's happening?
It was so delightful.
I think you're like you said it. It's like it does it twice in the episode.
Yeah.
It just makes it even better.
What'd you guys think of the world-ending catastrophic event special effects?
I feel other than the fact that they were like trying to replicate drugs, it felt like they found like some of the chroma key on their system, and they're like, hey, you know what does this do? Oh my god, we gotta put that in an episode.
That is real. That was just like a whole lot of crossfades.
I don't
just constant.
I don't know what a crossfade is.
It's like just like when we have like two images and you just dissolve one into the other.
Oh,
So crossfade would be like doing that rapidly, I guess, or I might be getting my terms mixed up. A dissolve is usually when like you're dissolving from one scene to the next. It kind of like the two blend into each other.
It was wonderful.
It really was. And then my favorite thing is when they started adding in the Superman newspaper, or where the thing is like, it was really just a cube, but it looked like a newspaper to me. Like, you know how in the comic book movies when like something happens, it's like extra, extra, read all about it. Like the newspaper comes in from like off the screen, like at the screen, and it's spinning in circles, and then it says like, we must find Spider-Man or something.
Yep.
You guys are just going to leave me hanging, aren't you? I hate you both. This is not cool, Majeed. Did Majeed freeze?
I did freeze.
He's not-
I did freeze.
I wasn't sure if I lost your webcam or because you stopped moving and you stopped responding.
Everything broke all of a sudden. I tried to give you the finger, not the middle finger. I tried to give you like this finger to say, hey, something broke. But
yeah, both of you guys had
I'm here.
pack a loss.
I don't know. If it's both of us, it's probably you. I had Photoshop and Lightroom open, and I think I was at some point rendering something that just never finished rendering. So
it couldn't have possibly been you, is what you're saying.
Yeah, it was definitely Brad, because the amount of packets that it takes.
Always my fault.
Yeah, the amount of packets it takes to travel from the West Coast to the East Coast, it takes time. That's what the experts call latency.
You know what? It's funny because like I was looking over the review that Brad wrote up as we were discussing it. I was like, wow, this is a very short synopsis of the episode. But then I looked over at Memory Alpha, and it is also equally short synopsis. And it just reminded me that like there really isn't anything that happened in this episode for the majority of it.
I feel like they did like, I don't know, 4 minutes of that fade where it's the two guys fighting, and that took up too much of the episode. And it's funny, like this is one of those episodes where it's rare where there's not like a subplot of a subplot kind of going on. It's straightforward. Something's going on with this guy. We don't really know what's going on. Some monsters there, but we don't have any like other background type stuff going on, and it stays to the course to all the way through the end. And I'm just like, wow, not a lot happens in this episode.
It's pretty basic. Yeah, I would agree with that. Majeed, what was your train of thought when you were watching this?
What the hell is happening? What am I watching? Why is this guy throwing himself off a cliff? Why is he here and not talking? The one thought that I had. I'm going to move my mic for this. Sorry. Okay. Hopefully that didn't cause too much jitter. Sorry, Drew, in advance. So they bring out the most jacked and physically fit red shirts I've ever seen in this show. They were physically imposing red shirts. Yet when Kirk got back, everyone is watching him fight Lazarus. Nobody stepped in.
Isn't there a point in the fight where Kirk says, don't get near him or don't touch him?
I didn't hear that part.
Stay back.
I did see he was carrying him like a bear hug, like a child.
Yeah.
I said, really, guys, you're going to watch him? I
thought the same exact thing, man. And Kirk is getting into it with him. So first of all, the fight starts and nobody moves. Spock doesn't blink an eye. The two red shirts don't blink an eye. Kirk and Lazarus just start throwing down. And after about like 15 seconds of fighting, Kirk then like yells, "Stay back," or something like that. And I'm like, these guys were not even coming close to moving. Why are you asking them to stay back?
They're like, we saw the previous episodes. We know that if we jump in, we die.
Oh my God. No red shirts were killed though.
No red shirts were harmed in the arm making of this episode.
And no shirts were destroyed off Kirk's body either.
I expected it.
We saved another shirt this week. Can we talk about Lazarus's facial hair for a moment?
Oh man,
I've seen Brad with similar beard.
I want to say that I like to think I have more facial hair than this dude does.
So,
and you know what you said, Majeed, last time we talked. You're like, was that blackface we saw? And I'm just like, my immediate thoughts for that was like, are they doing the exact same thing in this episode?
Yeah,
and they're doing it trying to like replicate an Asian guy, I guess.
Yeah, it was bad. It reminded me of the bad guy from the old kung fu movies.
Yeah,
where they zoom in super fast and the guy whips his goatee, and I'm like, why?
You're thinking of Kill Bill, aren't you?
Oh my god, yeah, the master, right? The trainer.
Yep.
Yeah. No, totally. That's exactly what I'm thinking of. Good reference.
And I saw it and I was like, wait, I feel like I should be offended.
I got this one true. Why would you be offended? You are
for my daughter. For my daughter. Since my daughter is half Asian, I feel like I should be offended for her.
I'll allow it. That's lawyer speak for okay, it's okay.
We'll have to check on that. Oh my god. All things considered though, like I was like entertained by this episode because this was just like there's some weird stuff going on here. It was just was this like how Discovery got the idea to do like galactic events that span entire seasons?
Oof.
It was a very unique episode. I feel like we haven't seen something like this style before.
Yeah, we haven't. And not to like play my cards too far for the ending of our episode, but as the episode went on, I found myself enjoying it more and more.
Mm-hmm.
Like once they kind of got out of the way of trying to make it mysterious and they actually started like diving into the plot itself, I was kind of into it.
Yeah, this is a precursor for season 2's mirror episodes, right?
I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a direct relation, but I think it's important to recognize that Star Trek does a lot of parallel universe stuff and a lot of like alternate timelines. So if that's your kind of thing, like you're gonna see more of it.
My thing is Mirrorverse Lorca. That's it. Mirrorverse Lorca over everything.
I feel pretty confident in saying with the cancellation of Discovery looming that that's never going to happen.
I get it, but Mirrorverse Lorca is dead anyway. Oh, is that a spoiler? Can you bleep me?
I mean, it's been out for like 6 years now, so.
What's the statute of limitations on spoilers?
You'll have to Google that.
The statute of limitations?
No, yeah. I think anything over a year is good.
Ooh, that's way too soon. Didn't you yell at me because I posted something on Facebook that was considered a spoiler? You were like, "We're not friends anymore," and it was like a year and a half.
No, that was definitely not me.
It was Spider-Man related. I absolutely remember. I said, "Brad's not my friend anymore." That sucks.
Was that like I have no idea. That was like the most recent one, right?
It was Far From Home. It was the second.
No,
one.
that was no, it had to have been the most recent one because that was the one that I took forever to see. And if anything, that was like a few months before I saw it.
I didn't post on Facebook that recently. I posted on Facebook for I know why. I did Photoshop with it, and I photoshopped our buddy John in the background. And it was every time I see his face, I miss him. And that's what it was. It was a really good Photoshop. I'm very proud of it. And then you just poo-pooed all over it.
Oh, I remember that now. Yeah. I was just messing with you for that because I already saw it at that point.
All right. Hey, Drew,
Yeah.
buddy. So
Oh boy.
if you had to, you're a fan of the Mirrorverse stuff, right?
The what?
The Mirrorverse, like the alternate universe and style
We
episodes.
don't just to kind of get this out of the way. In Star Trek, we don't give the term verse to everything like they do in Marvel and DC.
Don't you dare! Don't you
I just
dare
did.
attack me.
I did. I went there.
Okay, I'll allow it. No demerit for you.
That's right.
All right. So what are we gonna say? We don't put the word verse afterwards, right? But are you a fan of those mirror episodes?
I am for
Okay.
the most part. Yeah.
So let me give you this. If you had the opportunity yourself to remake this episode, what would you change to make it better? Perfect.
The goatee.
That's it.
Step one. I mean, I think a lot of my choices would be editing. You know, like just not relying on the two men fighting in the tunnel, as Brad succinctly put it. You know, that we kept seeing, and in hindsight, you know, makes a lot of sense as to what that was. But yeah, I think that would probably be the biggest change that I would make. I mean, like there was a lot wrong with this episode, but overall, like it still was, I think it was an interesting concept for the time that just the execution may have been a little lacking.
Mhm.
But the idea of there being two universes where, you know, they cannot coexist, the people from both universes cannot coexist in the same timeline. I kind of dig that. The idea that, you know, they would be stuck like fighting each other in this like third universe, if they were to like ever cross paths, kind of dig that. And the idea of having a noble character that's willing to sacrifice his life to protect everybody versus the one that's unhinged and just wants to get free. You know, like I kind of dig that too. So while we didn't get to know this character and spend a lot of time with him, I think it was pretty cool seeing this take on two different personalities from two different realities.
I think it's, to me, it was a little bit different than when you have some of the more modern day tellings, like the mirror universe type stuff. Because with those, you can have the same person in the same, like two of the same people in the same universe.
Right, and they do frequently. I mean, that's the whole point.
Which in this one though is like it showed as to how McCoy was like, oh, he's healed, and now he's not healed, and it was kind of like that where it would swap the character, I guess you could say. And that was a change, because usually you don't see it that way where, you know, the person just goes away. It's usually just like the one person sneaking around the corner and then like watching their double do something.
Right.
That's actually a pretty good point. So
Yeah.
I guess, Brad, same question for you. What would you change to make it perfect?
I think, to me, there was like one line about like time travel that like I felt that was just kind of not really needed. I can tell they tried to push in a subplot, but they didn't really go anywhere with it. It just was, they made a mention of it and they never really referred back to it too much. But I think that would be it. It's just like, just ignore that entirely and focus on the one idea of like that, like two universes aspect of things. And go with that route. How about you, Majeed?
I would add a ticking clock element, and like you guys suggested, remove the whole mystery of it. Add maybe a subplot of secondary characters investigating while the other ones are actually doing the action stuff.
It kind of felt like there was a ticking clock. Maybe not explicitly,
Yeah.
but there definitely were stakes.
I get where Majeed is coming from, because it didn't feel like Bad Lazarus was like anywhere near like intercepting like the sane one. And to me, like I kind of agree with Majeed on that. Like it didn't feel like, oh, it has to be done before that, you know, the countdown to 0. You know, I get what you're saying is so, Drew, is because the bad guy was trying to get to the other guy to kill him. And so I guess that was, in your mind, the ticking clock for it. Am I correct to assume?
I would say so. Like, I'm just thinking about, like, I mean, all right, to throw another comic book reference here.
Careful.
In Avengers, Thanos didn't have like a deadline before he had to snap his fingers. He snapped his fingers when he wanted to, when he had all the stones. So there was no explicitly ticking clock in that. He was a ticking clock, but he was still a compelling villain, right?
The stakes with Thanos was him getting his hands on the stones. I hate that you're setting me off. Like you did it on purpose. I know you did it on purpose.
Did it trigger you? I swear I wasn't trying to trigger you.
I took a nice deep breath. I said, first of all.
When you mentioned that, Drew, I was like looking at.
Excuse me, sir. Actually,
how dare you?
Oh man. Man, Drew, this is the first time you gaslit Majeed, I guess.
Oh my God! Did he did gaslight me, didn't he?
I didn't even mean to. I didn't even mean to.
That's expert mode.
I could tell, like, from the look on his face, Drew, when you mentioned that, I was like, oh, nope, Majeed's getting into it.
Yeah. See Brad pulling up the popcorn.
But seriously, though.
Seriously, Thanos. Seriously. No, I can
take this. I can take this. So you're correct in that Thanos did not have a ticking time clock. However, the Avengers did have a ticking time clock against Thanos.
Right. Thanos was the ticking time clock.
Right. So with them, so in that same respect, then Lazarus was the ticking time clock.
Yeah, and so that's kind of how it would relate into that sense.
Actually,
Lazarus was Thanos.
Actually, Infinity War was more of a race. Who could get to the stones quickly? While one team, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
But I mean, the stones could be an allegory for the dilithium crystals.
So tune in next time to yet another Marvel podcast.
Yet another Infinity War podcast. I'm going to watch Infinity War now. Oh gosh. I have one of those tension headaches. The ones that kind of like wrap around your head. Ooh, is this what it is to get triggered? Oh gosh. All right.
I wasn't even trying. Wait till I try.
You're gonna talk junk about The Rock, aren't you?
I'm so proud of you, Drew.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you.
Speaking of The Rock, they announced live action Moana, and I think I have a shot at being cast as Maui. I think I can probably do it.
I think The Rock would get cast first.
I think he's going to cast himself as Maui, but I mean,
I don't know who that is.
Bro,
I haven't seen it, and I know who that is.
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
You don't watch this with the cats? You don't watch kids movies with the cats?
Look, man, I have time to watch 2 1-hour episodes of TV. I don't have time to watch 1 2-hour movie.
But you watch a 2-hour baseball game.
It airs once in a lifetime, man.
No, they
and they're
don't.
actually closer to they're closer to 3 hours. So
I thought they made rule changes to make the game worse. I mean, better. I mean, quicker.
They did. It is quicker. But instead of being 3.5 hours, now it's like 2.5 to 3 hours.
180 something games a year.
162.
How are the
I
Mets
have no
doing
comments
so
on
far?
this topic.
How are the Mets doing?
What is that?
How are the Mets doing right now?
Well, we just got shut out 2 games. So let's see here. We lost 10-0 to Milwaukee 2 days ago. Yesterday we lost 9-0, and today we lost 7-6. So we got swept. Not a good day for my boys.
Well, you know, it's only the beginning of the season. The Yankees are already doing better than you, but yeah, it's neither here nor there.
So they're gonna go play the Steelers next, right?
Shut up, Brett.
They're pronounced. Oh no, Brad, just don't do it. They're the Pirates, but no. Gosh, is this what it's come to? Us trying to gaslight each other? is this what we do now?
I mean, basically.
Okay,
That's what the listeners tune in for. Is just like us gaslighting each other.
All right, guys. Well, I think we've exhausted gaslighting each other. And, I mean, who am I kidding? There's always room for more gaslighting, but I think it's time we give this thing a score. What do you guys say?
Yeah, I think it's a good time to pivot into that.
Yeah.
All right. So Brad, let's start with you.
So for an episode where a whole lot of nothing happens, and quite frankly, one of the shortest summaries I've ever had to written, the overall it was surprisingly entertaining, and I think the thing that I found most entertaining was the campiness. It was over the top campiness in my mind, and this was like true Star Trek campy, and I think I really enjoyed that part of it. It wasn't perfect by any fair imagination, but it was entertaining to a point where if this was on, I came across it, I'd probably watch it, and I give this a pretty solid 7.
Not bad. Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, man. Like this episode started out really poorly, and I was kind of bracing for the worst, right? But as the episode kind of progressed, I found myself becoming more and more intrigued by the story, and once I was able to get past the really cheesy special effects.
I love that though. That was like what made it for me, because to me that was just like the most ridiculousness.
Yeah, I mean it was, but like it was almost like fourth wall breaking at first too, you know? Like you could tell like somebody got his hands on some new toy and wanted to try it out, and he's like, "Whoa, I know a guy that works on this crazy space show.
Yeah.
It's called Star Trek. This will fit in perfectly there." So
that's not how that works.
It's exactly how it works.
No.
Anyway,
they wine and dine them, and they do cocaine together, and they have this bright idea while they're all drunk, and that's how you sell it. You make them sign a contract.
you sound like you're an expert at that.
I've been around the block a few times. Ooh, is that a admission of guilt? I gotta ask our lawyer friend.
Fair enough.
I may have to Venmo her $1 to put on a retainer. Is that how that works?
I don't know. You'll have to ask her. Okay. But all that to say, yeah, I think I'm surprised to have landed on a 7 for my score, because I really thought that this was going to be bad, and I was pretty cringy on it at first, but I ended up liking this, and I would definitely leave this on. So next week, what episode are we looking at here?
I gave you no score. You literally just skipped over me.
I assumed that you gave it a 0.
You jerk. It's like, okay. All right. This is what happens when I'm not around. This is what happens when you guys talk about Picard. It's just you and Brad. You fell into the cycle. But if it's okay with you, Drew, I'd like to give my score.
Please go on.
Okay. I'll try to fluff it up a little bit, Brad.
Thank you.
Gosh, this episode was. What year was this released, Drew?
67.
Yeah, now it shows. Listen, this is the kind of acid trip episode. This is the kind of things you hear about in those stories about your parents partying in the 60s and 70s. This is it.
This was the episode that helped cause Woodstock.
Maybe we can fact check that and just put it on Twitter. We'll just put it on Twitter. That's what we'll do. We'll get it trending. But I mean, maybe, you know, it was so. Brad, the way you described it is it's the most Star Trek episode. And I have to agree with you, man.
What did you
didn't
just
say that to me? You didn't say that to me? Hang on. Hang on. I have to. You know what? Listen, you may not have said it to me, but
do you mean this is what happens when Star Trek does acid?
Yes. But also the most Star Trek ass episode of Star Trek. It's I don't know, man. It's the only thing it was missing for me is God, what is his name? Sulu and wow, help me out here.
Guys who weren't on the episode.
Yeah. Sulu and
Sulu wasn't there. I don't think Scotty was there.
Scotty wasn't there. Scotty's not going to be there for a while though, like full time, right?
No, I mean he's a regular.
And then we won't get Welshie until they do the musical reunion.
Correct.
Wow, the Russian guy.
Chekhov.
Chekhov. My God, that was so difficult.
But you haven't seen him yet, though.
He hasn't been there?
Chekhov has not appeared yet. He's not in the series yet.
Oh. All right.
Don't get him until season 2.
Ah, well, spoiler alert.
Is it?
Maybe. Anyway, all that being said, I thought the episode was hilarious. The catch up for the bruises. The elongated Kirk getting his butt whooped and saying, no, don't jump in, I got this, while being manhandled. Lazarus falling off of a cliff, and I'm certain that there's some correlation, some connection between the character of Lazarus, the character name of Lazarus, and him just appearing on this planet. Like there's some connection I'm not making, but it seems like it's right there in front of me. That being said, I would give this episode a solid 5.
I love how you guys like use the word solid before you give every score a score.
I can explain why.
Please do.
Because
it's endlessly entertaining.
So I'm using solid because I'm stuck on that number. Also, if it were like a 5.5, it's not very solid at that point. It's wobbly because it's in between two numbers.
But I can promise you that I've heard solid 9.5 come out of either one of your mouths at once.
I feel like I started the word solid and Majeed just copied me.
Oh my
you
God.
Totally did. That's exactly what happened.
Oh my God. I copied Brad? No way.
Yeah.
How come Brad can't copy me and do some shoulder presses and stuff?
Valid.
Brad, I'm sorry.
I have a joke, but it's not appropriate for the podcast.
Just do it, Drew. Drew, bleep it out. Just do it. Fix it in post.
Because you'll claim it's cultural appropriation.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
All right, we'll have to take this one offline then.
Oh gosh. Ooh. All right. Okay. All right. What are we watching next week, Drew?
Guys. I am very excited. Next week, we're watching one of the all-time greats. The City on the Edge of Forever.
I'm looking forward to that one.
Majeed,
I'm really looking forward to that one.
I've been counting down for it.
Majeed, this is like in a lot of people's top, it's in a lot of people's top 10 lists, and it's in some people's top 3 of all of Star Trek. Very curious to see how that holds up.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm also waiting for the one where Spock gets genetically riled up, mama. And he has to go back to his home planet, and he ends up fighting Kirk, and then the music is playing.
Can you do your Spock impression one more time, please?
Which part? He gets so riled out, oh, mama. It's such a horrible impression. Ooh, you are logically the right dimensions, 36, 24, 36.
Oh my God.
You see just one eyebrow of Spock just pop up.
That's not his eyebrow.
Oh. I'm going to show you this Vulcan grip.
All right, we need to wrap this up. That's it, everybody. We'll see you next time. Thanks for listening. Goodbye.
Take care.
Oh, God. Thanks for listening to yet another Star Trek podcast. We're part of the Retro Sessions Network. This episode was recorded on April 5th, 2023. It's hosted by Brad, Drew, and Majeed. Thanks to Majeed for being Majeed. Thanks to Brad for being Brad, and thanks to me for being Drew. Speaking of thanks, we'd also like to thank George Rattal for drawing up our excellent artwork of us as Lower Decks characters. And we'd also like to thank William Grubbelaar for coming up with some amazing music for our podcast. Our theme songs, Warp Speed and To the Stars. You can check out both of them by hitting up the links in the show notes. Speaking of other links in the show notes, we have links to our social media on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, email. Does anybody email anymore? I'm not even sure, but it's there, and if you'd like to, you can email us or shoot us a DM or say hi on Twitter or whatever. We'd love if you followed us. Check this out at Yet Another ST Pod, everywhere you can think of. We've also got a Discord room, so if you want to come on by and chat about nerdy stuff with us, we'd love to see you there. There's a link for that in the show notes as well, too. Basically, lots of links in show notes, so go check them out. In any case, we'll see you next time. Thanks for listening.